our Pigment Mixology question time. You've asked and we're going to answer. So the first one. Do you need to be good at art, drawing or be creative to be a permanent makeup artist? The answer is you don't need to be good, but if you've got drawing skills, it does help. Also, if you've got a creative eye, it does help. However, we can train you.
When I first started in permanent makeup, I didn't actually know that I was a creative person, so I didn't realise I could draw. And then I trained in brows and started sketching. I was sketching brows for years, and then all of a sudden it developed an eye underneath it, and then I actually realised that I could draw.
So we brought out your inner creativity.
Next question. Can you mix KB Pro pigments with other brands? Well, I would never really recommend that. For one, they sometimes hold different carrier agents. They're definitely going to have different ingredients in there as well, aren't they? So I would say that if you were to have a problem, or if anyone were to have a reaction, something happened, how would you identify which one of the brands was causing the problem? If you had a funny colour change, how do you know what background that those pigment colours have got in them? Some could have a warmer undertone, some could have a cooler undertone, which could result in a purple hue further down the line from the mixture of those undertones by mixing brands together.
Our advice is never mix.
Don't do it.
Yeah, never mix other people's brands together. Stick to one company's pigment range. Yeah. What should I be looking for when choosing permanent makeup pigments? One of the main things that you should be looking for to start with is to make sure that you've got good education about those pigments, so you're understanding
so you know why
what
you're choosing a colour and why.
Yeah, just check the consistency of the pigments.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Yeah.
It's got to glide in really, really nicely.
Yeah, you don't want them to be too thin, you don't want them to be too thick. You need to have a lot of power in the pigments. You need to have so that there's a lot of pigment powders in there, so that you get that consistency, you get the strength in the pigment. Yeah. And also, when we're talking about pigments as well, make sure that even the bottles that they come in are hygienic.
And easy to use.
Yeah. But one of the biggest things as well is the results. Yeah. When your clients come back after 4 to 6 weeks, that is the biggest thing for what pigments you're actually choosing. Yeah. Are they the results that you want to achieve for your clients?
Why do you not mix more than 3 colours together? So when we teach about our pigments, we always say never mix more than 3 colours together, and that's because ours are designed to be used neat. So ideally, we don't really want you to be doing any mixing at all, unless obviously you have to. Yeah. So in some cases we'd recommend that you need to add an adjuster, and in other cases it's usually at top up, at retouch, that if you did need to go darker with your colour, rather than just choosing a brand new colour, think about darkening the existing colour that you've chosen so that you've got the same tone running through. And again, for longevity, as it's fading out over time, you know that that colour's going to stay true to itself rather than having a big mix of undertones in there.
Because what you've got to think about, each one of the pigments, they will have got more than one powder mixed together. So they might already have 3 or 4 powders already mixed in. So if you just keep mixing 4 colours, 5 colours, then you might have 12 colours, 15 colours all mixed together. You can end up with just a dull
concoction.
Of just a dull colour, which doesn't give great results.
And remember, when you are mixing pigment colours together, you must give them a very thorough mix. If you can see that there's a warm film on the top of the pigment, you know that you're not mixing it enough, so you've really got to give it a good mix for it to be even comparable to how it's been mixed in the lab.
So the next question is, why does oily skin not retain as much depth of colour? So all different skin types can retain colour differently, and the natural oils can cause a barrier, and they can actually repel the absorption of the pigments.
And also throughout the healing process as well, that those oils, whilst your brows are healing, they're going to be acting as a moisturiser throughout that healing process, which again could affect that retention.
The last
question, what is the best technique for mixing pigments? It's just ensuring that you give them a really good mix with a microbrush, or even use a pigment mixer.
Especially if you're using a lip pigment, because some lip pigments do contain titanium, and your titanium is a heavy molecule than your other pigments.
Yeah, so your lighter ones are going to sit on top.
Yeah, so you need to make sure that you keep mixing the pigment as well whilst you're actually doing the treatment, just to keep that consistency of that pigment smooth. Yeah, that's it.
That's it. Questions answered.
Absolutely.